The Board of Trustees of the Marlin Independent School District is called to order at 5 p.m. This is the regular monthly board meeting being held on March 2nd, 2026. For roll call, Rosalind Emerson,
Present.
MISD Ehlers,
Present.
Billy Johnson, Lynette Outland,
Present.
Verlaine Terry, Sharon Tomlinson,
Present.
and Deborah Trotter.
Present.
We have 7 members present, so we have a quorum. Please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance and pledge to the Texas flag.
And the Texas pledge.
And the Texas pledge, excuse me.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Ms. Strickland, are there any public comments?
Public comments at board meetings are limited to items on the posted agenda. To address the board, individuals must sign up before the meeting starts and indicate the agenda item they wish to speak on, as outlined in Policy BED Local. Comments are restricted to 3 minutes per meeting. There are no comments, Madam President.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Strickland. The next item on the agenda is action items, and I'll refer to Mr. Bates, please.
So the first action item we'll have for today is going to be item 6A. It's going to be the consideration and possible approval of Texas certification waiver and district plan to address non-certified teachers. And trustees, before we begin, I wanted to make sure we brought this back to the agenda because last month we talked, thank you. Last month we talked about the ability to file a waiver for the potential of being able to hire newly uncertified teachers that may be still working on certification. However, though, as we were inputting our waiver, we also realized that we wanted to make sure that we were transparent in making sure we actually showed the entire plan or enough of the plan so the board will have full understanding of the plan as well as the waiver. Most of it I briefly spoke to in my kind of commentary from last time, but I want to make sure for the public that we were doing our due diligence to make sure not only that we are asking for the waiver, but the trustees also got a chance to see the actual plan as well. So I will turn it over to Mr. Norman Jones.
Good evening, Board President Terry, members of the board, and Mr. Bates. How do we ensure that every student in our district has the best instruction? To be sure, the path to stronger outcomes begins with 100% certified teachers. Our district is committed to achieving 100% state certified teachers by the year 2029, 2030, so that school year, to strengthen instructional quality and to improve student outcomes. Currently, our district has 15 individuals assigned to foundational courses who are not certified for the 2025-2026 school year. And those foundational courses are math and reading, K through, all the way through 12th grade. So our educational partnership programs, we will partner with the following entities in this process. So part of the plan is that you have to identify certain outside groups and programs that you would partner with. So for supporting our teacher cert, we have Baylor University and our Teachers of Tomorrow. And then for actually supporting our teacher mentorship, we're going to use Region 12. So we have a bona fide plan. These are state approved by TEA. They have a drop-down list of the organizations that you could use. We chose Baylor because of its proximity, and Teachers of Tomorrow is like online based, and so they can easily gain access to that certification. Region 12 already supports us on the financial side with instructional coaching and resources, and so it just made sense for us to use these partners here. So our plan of action, I'm gonna spend a few minutes here. So it's centered around 2 aspects: recruitment and retention. I'm gonna say it one more time. Recruitment and retention. When I say recruitment, what does that mean? It means getting the best. So going out to the job fairs, recruiting from other school districts, and then retention. Once we get the best, we have to keep the best. Is that all right? Teacher support, I feel good. Because I'm really passionate about this, guys, because as we've been going to the job fairs, like, it's been our point of emphasis to recruit. We have to get the best. Our students deserve it. And as long as I'm here and Ms. Gwen is here, we're going to work together to make sure that every teacher that we bring to the district is certified. So, job fairs, we went last week to Prairie A&M. Coming up, it has Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston State, Texas A&M, Baylor University. This is not a comprehensive list, but this is just a list that we've started with. So, as we talk about the budget, as you notice, hey, there's some more expenses that are going to recruitment. It's because this is our plan is literally based around recruiting at these job fairs. And then teacher retention, strategic compensation. We want to pay well, okay? Teacher coaching. We want to make sure that when they're here, that they may not understand how to do lesson planning or the best instructional strategies. So we want to make sure that we partner them with someone who can help them. We're going to focus on teacher wellness. Dr. Neville's here. One of her big keys is wellness, social and emotional wellness, not just for students, but for the adults as well. Next, a positive work environment. Everybody wants to work in a place where they feel valued and feel welcomed. Leadership development as a part of our LASSO 4 grant. So again, this is our condensed plan around teacher recruitment. How is this going to be monitored? So the HR department will track the certification progress twice a year. As a matter of fact, we have already started. We had a meeting with every teacher that is non-certified on last Tuesday. We met with them, kind of went over timelines with them, and we reassured them that we will work with you if you want to be certified. We will walk you through the process. Any questions or discussions?
So once again, trustees, and I always try to do things in decent order. We do have a decent amount of uncertified teachers. I did get a chance to meet with all of them that are uncertified and make sure they understood our plan of action. I would love to keep them all if they're able to get certified, to go into a little bit more detail, but we are moving forward with next year in the areas of mathematics and reading language arts, which also include reading and writing, K through 12. We are trying to make sure that we do our best and put the best in front of our kids, so we are going to make sure that we hire only certified and have only certified teachers in those classes beginning in the 26-27 school year.
Thank you.
Is that it? Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do we have, any trustees have any questions?
I just have one. Out of the ones that are not certified, how many do we have now that are in a program or working towards a program to get certified?
So I can give you that exact number, but I'll say it's at least half. So we have several that are already in. They're like, I just need to finish my modules. I need to take this. I'm like, well, finish your modules. Go ahead and take the PPR. So there are people that are, I think they've just been stalling, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So we're putting some pressure on them to let them know, you may want to go ahead and take care of that as soon as possible.
And what about the other half? Is it a no, is it a straight, like, no, I'm not getting that?
So there are, go ahead.
So, Trustee Demerson, let me address that one. They may or may not, but I have to think about the students first.
Yes.
So, if they're working on a certification in their area, specifically in the area of language arts and mathematics, the key word that I like for everybody to always focus on is the word certificate, certification. Whether they have a provisionary, whether they have a temporary, whether they have an emergency, whether they have a standard. If they have a certification of any of those sorts, they're actually certified. So the ones that we're talking about that are not certified, they don't have any of those. Some probably could have gotten it before this regime has gotten here. Some maybe just now as they're getting here. But regardless, in the area of reading and or math and writing, they have to have one of those types of certification no matter what. So unfortunately, the ball is no longer in their court as far as, okay, whether they're getting one, whether they're not getting one. They have some time in the areas of social studies and science. Not saying that those aren't important, But we're not trying to push all of our valued employees away because they're all still valuable to us. The reason why I jumped in is because even in my conversation with them, I didn't even ask, where do you stand? It says, you need to be standing here, or here's what's going to happen. And I don't mean that in necessarily a demonstrative way, but the reality of it is, we have to focus on what's best for the students first. It is what it is. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, board? Then, could I have a motion from the board to approve teacher certification waiver and district plan?
I move that the board approve the teacher certification plan and waiver as presented.
Okay, Ms. Demerson's moved. Do I have a second? Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second from Ms. Tomlinson. Any discussion? If not, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed or any abstain? Okay, the motion carries. Okay, next, item 6B is a resolution for EIF Local Texas Education Code 28.02541. Mr. Bates?
All right, next we're going to have Dr. Nevels. We've actually presented this once before, trustees. We did it as a information item / future action item, but we definitely want to make sure we bring it back to the board's opportunity to vote tonight because it will allow us to be able to actually start the process on a few people that have identified already as potential graduates. So I'd like to turn over to Dr. Nevels.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam President, trustees, and Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Bates. I'm here again to discuss the resolution for the EIF local. This particular Texas Education Code 28.02541, it allows eligible individuals who have met coursework requirements but could not pass the state assessment due to the testing rules at that particular time. But these are individuals that are seeking to earn a diploma through an alternative review process established under TEA rules. So this would apply only to the students who entered ninth grade before the 2011-2012 school year, and they successfully completed the graduation curriculum in effect at that time. The statute also addresses that students who did not pass the required state assessments at that time. This will also help them. As well, this resolution directs the Texas Education Agency Commissioner to adopt rules allowing school districts to determine whether such students can qualify for and receive a high school diploma through alternative requirements. And I am super excited. You do have a copy of the proposed resolution that was presented a few weeks ago as well. What questions may I answer for you?
Do we have any students that are interested in that?
Absolutely, we have to.
Okay.
We have to. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that question.
Any other questions from the trustees? Then, may I have a motion for the Board of Trustees to approve resolution for EIF local?
I make a motion that we accept the resolution for EIF local.
Okay,
I'll
Ms.
second.
Thank you. Ms. Ayler's moved, second by Ms. Demerson. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Or anyone abstain? Then the motion carries 7-0. Okay,
Thank you.
next, if you don't mind, for the record, I was jumping right in, starting this meeting, and I didn't say quite the correct thing when we started. I said it was a special call meeting. I wanted to say that this was a special call meeting. And so could we have that on the record, Lynette? And not a regular board meeting. So I just wanted to get that down. So, anything else? If not, this meeting is adjourned at 5:15. anyone, Ms. Strickland, for this meeting? Public comment?
Public comments at board meetings are limited to items on the posted agenda. To address the board, individuals must sign up before the meeting starts and indicate the agenda item they will wish to speak on. As outlined in policy BED, local, comments are restricted to 3 minutes per meeting. There are no minutes, Madam President. No comments, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is recognitions. Mr. Bates, do you have any recognitions or introductions?
Yes, Madam President, we do have a few recognitions, so I'd like to turn it over to Mrs. Tynette Gwynn, and then we'll have one more special recognition at the very end.
Good afternoon, Board President Terry, Board Trustees, and Superintendent Bates. First, I would like to present a proclamation for National Social and Emotional Learning Week. National SEL Week is March 2nd through the 6th. Whereas the Marlin Independent School District is committed to educating the whole child and ensuring that every student is prepared for academic success, career readiness, and lifelong achievement. And whereas social and emotional learning, commonly known as SEL, equips students with essential skills to understand and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, demonstrate empathy, build healthy relationships, and make responsible decisions. And whereas research affirms that international SEL instruction strengthens academic performance, improves school climate, increases student engagement, and promotes positive behavior and mental wellness. And whereas SEL supports the development of resilient, confident, and compassionate learners who are prepared to contribute meaningfully to their communities. And whereas the inaugural observance of National SEL Week provides an opportunity to elevate awareness, celebrate progress, and reaffirm our commitment to nurturing safe, supportive, and inclusive learning environments across all campuses. Now, therefore be it proclaimed that Marlin ISD hereby recognizes March 2nd through 6th, 2026 as National SEL Week and encourages students, families, educators, and community members to join in recognizing and promoting the importance of social and emotional learning in fostering excellence in education and empowering every Bulldog to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand this second day of March 2026, Alfonso Bates, Superintendent of Schools. Yeah. Next, I want to recognize, in honor of National Maintenance Worker Appreciation Day, Marlin ISD proudly recognizes the dedicated individuals who work tirelessly behind the scenes to keep our facilities safe and functional. Celebrated this year on March 4th, 2026, that's Wednesday, the district will extend its deepest gratitude to the maintenance staff whose commitment ensures a high-quality learning environment for all students and staff. And then the next one is, this week we recognize National Educational Diagnostician Week. Our DIAG is April Pullen, and she plays a vital role in evaluating students, analyzing data, and helping determine the supports and services needed for student success. She works collaboratively with staff and families to ensure decisions are thoughtful, equitable, and student-centered. We are grateful for her dedication and the impact she makes on our campuses each day. Thank you.
And trustees, I want to, first of all, thank Ms. Gwynn for those great recognitions, definitely for our SEL National Week, also for our maintenance workers and our diagnosticians. And we just always want to, when we can, recognize and love on our Marlin students and our Marlin staff members. Next, I have a special presentation that I want to turn the microphone over to our long-serving governance coach, is the great Dr. Larry Lewis. Dr. Lewis?
Good evening, President Terry, board members, Superintendent Bates, and Dr. Trevino, the conservator. I am here tonight to present you all with certificates. Generally, when we do Lone Star governance, you get 10 hours of framework training and 3 hours for Team of 8. Well, you all are going to get 16 hours this time. You're going to get 13 hours. You're going to get 13 hours for framework training and then 3 hours for ISO Team of 8. Thank to Judge Trotter for being here tonight, but we're going to get with you one-on-one and get you caught up on all of this. And then you'll get credit for the remainder of this year for Team of 8. But next year, Team of 8 is going to be new, so everyone is going to have to take Team of 8, and then you get a new 2-year credit, and you won't have to do it but every other year. So I have certificates for you all that I'm going to come by, drop off and shake your hands, and thank you for a job well done for the time that you committed on February 7th and 8th on Saturday and Sunday, and Super Bowl Sunday at that. So we want to just thank you for your commitment, and thank you for the continuous work. And I just must say this, it was one of the best trainings with the new superintendent and board that I've seen, and then just the commitment of the administrative team on being there. And I just want to say, and I'm sure Dr. Trevino echoes with me, you're in a great space and you're about to do even greater things. So thank you for your commitment. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna give you a new certificate because some reason I cannot get MJ1 off of there. It's not on there until I print it. So I have to figure out what's going on, and I'm gonna get you a new certificate.
All right.
Thank you. Oh, and by the way, the administrative team will get, continuing education credits. Thank you, sir.
That concludes our recognitions, Madam President.
All right. The next item on the agenda is closed session. It is 5:25 PM, and we are adjourning to closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551074 for deliberation of personnel matters. We are now back in open session, and it is 6:15, and we do have a quorum. Are there any motions that need to be made? Okay. Next, we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Mr. Bates, do you have a report to give?
Madam President, yes, ma'am, I'll be very brief. I wanted to just take the time to highlight our student activity groups, and particularly our marching band, The Sounds of Thunder. I've gotten a lot of great reports from other superintendents and people around the state. They recently attended and marched in I believe it was a parade in Galveston, Mardi Gras parade. But they were spotlighted on the TV. And I just love hearing how they made and represented Marlin very well and very proud. And so, that's what we want from all of our students and all of our student groups. And so I appreciate that. And then the last thing I want to be able to say is just shout out to our boys basketball team for having a successful year in district this year. And then, of course, they came up short in their first playoff game, but once again, represented the district very well. Special shout out to our girls basketball team. They were 2 games away from state, but they played hard, they stayed together hard, they were coached hard, and they won and lost hard throughout the entire playoffs. And so I'm very proud. I was able to attend their last 2 games, I would believe. and to see how well they stayed together as a team, to see how the community came out to support them. I do encourage the community to continue to come out and support all of our student groups. I believe soccer plays tomorrow, so we do have a few activities going around, but my soccer students, if you all are getting a chance, or parents getting a chance to see the tonight's video, I do plan on making sure I'm there to support them, because soccer is just as important as all our other sports. And so we want to make sure that we continue to keep our students celebrated and lifted up as they're doing their best to compete in things that they are interested in. We always try to push them to things that we're interested in, things that we know that pays the bills, like the math, writing, reading, curriculum, science, and social studies. But we also want to make sure that we're enjoying them in the things that they're interested in. And so I do want to plan on making sure I get a chance to visit our soccer team tomorrow as well. And that's all I have, Madam President, for
All
tonight.
right. Next, we're going to have some information items. We'll now have presentations on the bond 2022 update.
Yes. So next, we're going to have Dr. Bethley for the bond 2022. So I'll turn it over to the great Dr. Troy Bethley. Dr. Bethley?
Good evening, Board President Terry, members of the board, and Superintendent Mr. Bates. I'm here to provide a brief update on the continued progress of our construction project. Recent work has focused on grading and leveling the site to ensure proper drainage and to prevent the stadium area from sitting below grade level. This step is critical to protecting the long-term integrity and functionality of the facility. At the same time, construction crews are actively installing rebar for the parking lot curb and gutter systems. This phase moves us closer to completing key infrastructure components that will support safe and efficient traffic flow on campus. We reached an important milestone with the selection of the brick veneer for the new gymnasium. This decision advances the architectural vision for the facility and ensures the building will reflect both quality and durability. We enclosed several pictures of the grading process, the rebar, and brick veneer selection. At this time, I would like to pause for any questions or discussion.
Are we on schedule for our original completion date, or where are
The
we
first
looking
week
at?
of October,
First week of October.
yes. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You bet. And now we'll have an update on graduation, Mr. Bates.
Yes, so we're going to have up next as our esteemed Executive Director of Student Services is the great Dr. Bridget Nevels, and she gives an update on the graduating class of 2026. Dr. Nevels?
You're too kind. Good evening again, Madam President, trustees, and Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Bates. I am here to talk about our road to graduation, and we are really, really excited. As you see here on the screen, then there is the distinguished level of achievement, which we really place all of our scholars on initially, and that is an attainment of a certain number of credits that we'll get into. And then also we also offer the Foundation High School program, which is a combination of the 22 credits plus an endorsement that allows our scholars to graduate at the distinguished level of achievement. And if you notice there at the bottom, we do have 5 areas of endorsement that's offered through TEA. The students here in Marlin mostly concentrate in the business and administration, public services, arts and humanities, and then the multidisciplinary studies. Next here for our senior graduation checklist, there are many areas that we have to monitor to ensure that our students are attaining those graduation requirements. One of those requirement areas is completion of Texas College Bridge, which will allow our students to attain that CCMR status. And mostly those students will complete those college and career-ready classes in English and in math. The next area that we focus in and really monitor closely is also attendance. Here you will notice that when students, as long as they do not exceed 8 absences per class period at the high school, then they are typically in good standing. But once that goes more than 8 absences, then there is a certain way that we will help those students monitor and attain the credits for that class. We also monitor the completion of the students' CPR certificate, police interaction training, also the speech requirements, and also the completion of our FAFSA application. The number of credits on the previous screen, we saw that there are 2 diplomas that are offered, and the distinguished level of achievements, our students do have to attain 26 credits. First is the second diploma that's offered, which is at the Foundation High School program level. Then the students have the opportunity to gain 22 credits. We also monitor the passing of 5 ELCs, which are your English 1, your English 2, your Algebra 1, your Biology, and also your U.S. History. Students are required to pass those 5 ELCs. However, if students have 2 or less ELCs that they have not passed, then they do have an opportunity to complete a project, which we commonly call that an IGC. And then for any course that is not completed, then our students do have the opportunity to attain those credits through the use of Edmentum for any course that is not completed. To ensure that our students are on track in all of these areas, which are about 9 or more, then there is a graduation tracker that is a spreadsheet, and it's used to monitor each and every student. At this time, I believe we have 51. And it's reviewed in a collective effort by key administrators and district leaders. I mentioned on the previous slide that we closely monitor attendance, and this is an area that the administrators and the team do a really good job at trying to ensure that students are aware that in addition to passing your courses, you have to be in school 90% of the time the class is offered. You have to be in the seat 90% of the time. So this applies to the elementary level as well as the secondary level. The difference is at elementary, that 90% rule, it applies to their promotion to the next grade. However, when we talk about secondary school, you have to earn the credit. So it's no more, promotion. You have to be in the seat 90% of the time, which is a point that we often have to stress, that whether you are excused absence, that's your note, your doctor's note, or unexcused, either or, the total of your excused and unexcused absences, it applies to that 90% rule. So that's why, we have to really, really focus when they get to the secondary and really remind them that if you're not, there 90% of the time that you could lose credit. So the good part, we're really excited. So right now, we have 2 early graduates as of today. So we are super, super, super excited about that. We have 55 active seniors, and 49 of those seniors are, yes, they are completely on track. So those 6 that are slightly off track, it is due to credits, the passing of their ELCs, and or any attendance concerns. But what's happening with that, those students that where we needed to have a little nudge, we've had one-on-one parent meetings with those particular students, okay? 41 of our seniors currently they have already met that CCMR status, so that is something to really be celebrated. We also conducted our FAFSA night for parents in partnership with MCC, so that was a really exciting opportunity to build that partnership. And we've also sent out status letters to the parents, the students that we may have concerns, so that those status letters have been shared. And so our next senior parent meeting with the high school is scheduled for Tuesday, March 17th. And then, of course, the moment that everyone has been waiting for, graduation is scheduled for May 28th. What questions may I answer for you?
I'd like to add a few things before we go to the questions. I want to go back to something and reemphasize a few things that Dr. Neville's talked about. In Marlin ISD, one of the things that I always want to make sure that everyone leads with is, what is the standard? What's the exact standard? So while the law doesn't automatically allow us to make a student be on a distinguished plan, that is where we're setting the bar for all of our students. I am starting to hear a few things that parents are wanting their child to be on the foundation plan. But it's one of those things where at any other time, and maybe even one of our parents meeting, well, I'll make sure we do a great job of explaining the pros and cons. But I will tell you, in 2026, and the world that our students are going in, we are trying to make sure we prepare our students to go anywhere and not necessarily go somewhere, and there's a difference. And so you may hear that it sounds like our high school counselor, our executive director of student services, we're pushing our kids, we're pushing our kids, we're pushing our kids. That's exactly correct. We are pushing our kids, we're guiding our kids, we're steering our kids to be able to take our places up here at some point in time in the future when that opportunity comes. So there's a difference between the foundation plan and the distinguished plan that Dr. Neville's touched on. But I want to make sure that was very clear that, yes, we are changing the standard, we're raising the bar, because we believe that all of our students can do so. We do know there's a reason, there's a rationale for some of our students to possibly not be on those plans, and we will support that too. But I wanted to make sure it's very clear that this regime, we are pushing all of our kids starting out to be on the distinguished plan until there's another reason that we find out that may not need to be so. And the other part, and I'll be quiet, is about the attendance and the attendance makeup. It's been brought to my attention that we historically allow students to make a lot of their time up during the summer. And we have already started sending out communication for that for this year as well, and that will follow suit this summer, with the exception of our seniors. Our seniors, we talked about it earlier today, they will get some information right before spring break or right after spring break about their opportunities to make that time up. We all know we want all of our students to cross that finish line on May the 28th. And so we can no longer allow students to slide by barely being in school 90% of the time. There are efforts that we're going to do for the remainder of the year, and including especially next year for truancy. But I want, as everybody can hear us talk about that, make sure that your children are here. But also, if they're given the opportunity, especially those seniors, to make sure they're part of the May 20th graduation, the things that the high schools have planned out for them to make sure they make that time up, that we take it serious enough to make sure that they're here. As for everyone else, when that time comes for the senior, that is the time that you might want to make sure you're taking it seriously, because if not, then those students shall make that credit up by seat time next year. So we have to get serious about students taking school serious. Parents, we have to get serious about parents taking school serious and having kids here on time and at least within the 90% time. So we cannot continue to allow students to, at some point in time, oh, it's not that important. They're going to find a way to make it up for us because the law requires it. We will find an opportunity for them to make it up, but this extended time during the summer, we have to do better. And so since we know better, we will do better moving forward.
You can answer one of my questions, but anyway, so one question I had, so how many tardies does it take per period for it to become an absence?
Thank you for that question. That is a common misconception. So tardies are marked as that. Now, the attendance for a class, it applies the same as a 90% rule. So if a class is offered, I'm just gonna say 50 minutes, okay? Then the student has to be in that class for 40 minutes. So if class starts at 9 o'clock, student comes in at 9:10, then that student has really, so if the student, 9 o'clock student comes in at 9:12, that student has now missed that class because they've missed more than 10%. So they can be in the class, however, they've missed more than 90% of the time that the class is offered. So the teacher will mark absent.
Okay.
Now, 9 o'clock, student comes in at 9:07. So now the student is still tardy. Yes, ma'am.
And also, I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we doing another day for FAFSA?
We can definitely look into that.
Of the 6 that are slightly off track, are they looking like we are going to have them cross the finish line at the same time as our rest of our kiddos?
The way that I can answer that, the type of, thank you for that question, the type of support and conversations that's being had from many different individuals along with parent contact. Then if that is met with effort on the student's part, then it is very, very possible. Yeah, so the six that are, then there are conversations and support meetings that are being held. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.
Next, we will discuss the 26, 27, we'll have budget workshop.
All right, next, we're gonna have the budget workshop. Here presenting that today is the great Norman Jones. Before we get started, trustees, this is one that we'll have, actually do in phases as we're moving toward finalizing our budget for you all to approve toward the very end of June. So this is kind of phase one of what would be known as the budget workshop.
Good evening, Board President Terry, members of the board, and Mr. Bates. So tonight, I'm going to walk you through our initial budget workshop process. So there are 4 factors that influence our budget development: enrollment and staffing needs, our student attendance, which Dr. Nevels just talked about, our basic student allotment, and our property tax values. So TEA determines the amount of a district state aid using property value and tax rate information, as well as attendance projections and attendance information. So this is a snapshot of our attendance for the 2025-2026 school year. So our enrollment, as you can tell from the first 6 weeks through the fourth 6 weeks, has been relatively stable. That's only a difference of about 9 students between our highest and our lowest. And our ADA is at around 730 students. So like Dr. Nevels just spoke, there is some work that needs to be done on ensuring that students are coming to school. I'm gonna say it again, there's some work that needs to happen. I know the campuses are working on attendance plans, so we're working from our side to make sure that students are present from pre-K all the way through 12th grade. And so as we look at the last 4 years, and going into our projection for the next school year, you can kind of see where we have been historically. I want to call your attention to the total for each year. So 2022, 2023, 11,800,000. 2023, 2024, right above 14 million. 2024, 2025, around 12,600,000. This past year, our budget has been 12,716,000, and we're projecting our budget for the upcoming school year to be about $12,600,817. So we always budget conservatively, right? Because you never really know what your attendance will be like. So we have projections that we say, okay, for next school year, if our enrollment is 750, our ADA should be around this number. But you never really know until that time comes, which is why we play it safe. We don't ever budget to the very penny, right? So how was the money spent? So generally speaking, as I have kind of explained at our monthly budget meetings, the majority of our money is spent on instruction. It's spent on students, curriculum, tutoring, make sure that our kids have what they need, okay? The next piece at the bottom there, I'm trying to point the facilities, will be about 22%. Now, again, these are approximate numbers, right? Central admin, right about 15%, student support about 12%, then campus admin 10%, and there's some extra that just mean anything that's that may come up that needs to be addressed. We have repairs that happen. You know, we may need to purchase a new refrigerator for the high school cafeteria. So those things are budgeted, but there are some things that happen just like at your house. You may have a monthly budget of X amount of dollars, but something may break down, you got to take care of it. So again, this is a general portrayal of how we spend our district funds. So what's next? So our budget meetings have started already. So our budget planning will go through April. And so I'll be back at least 2 more times as we actually develop our budget for the 26-27 school year. So our budget workshops tonight was a brief overview of how funding happens, how we receive our money, and where the money goes. Next, we'll look at preliminary revenues, expenditures, and compensation. So we're in a time now where we're looking at staffing for the next school year. We've been having those conversations ever since Mr. Bates got here. What does staffing look like? What's going to be our ratio? And so as we continue to work through those different avenues, we'll continue to share. And then final will be our final budget workshop. And so that'll be where we have our total budget that we ask you guys to approve for the 2026-2027 school year. And our final budget will have every department projections from all the way through child nutrition, through athletics, through the elementary campus. So it'll be a great way to detail a budget for you guys so that you kind of know, where we're going. And so in June 2026, we adopt our budget and proposed tax rate. So as you can tell, this is not something that just happens in just one meeting. We're meeting with our people at Region 12, and they're giving us advice on how to, carefully make sure that we have a budget that suits the needs of all students. Budget takeaways and next steps. So this year's budget is tracking slightly lower than the previous budget. Mr. Jones, why is our budget, why might it be different? If you look back to our ADA, it's based on attendance and based off of who's coming to school. So our ADA for this year was projected at 761 students. Our ADA now is right around 728. So when kids don't come to school, districts lose out on money. So I'm in the middle now. So planning for next year's budget is ongoing and based on recruitment and retention of staff, continued evaluation of savings and efficiencies, and projected decline in student attendance. And our next budget workshop is scheduled for April 6th. Any questions? Thank you.
Before you leave, I just want to make sure I did things decent and let the trustees ask questions first. I do want to make sure that I highlight, you keep hearing us talk about attendance. Now, when it comes to projecting a budget, we have to take into consideration what our data tells us now. But rest assured, we will have initiatives to ensure that our attendance goes up. But we do have to still make sure we take into account the budget of where things are projecting right now. But I also want to make sure that I kind of give a little insight that our budget next year will include the more than likely increase for staff, which will not, it'll still be within that number. Because as you all heard me talk about earlier, the sincerity but also the intentionality of making sure we have certified teachers in there reading and math and language arts. We have to make sure we're accounting for that, as some of those positions right now have classroom computer monitors and aides when we're trying to make sure they have certified teachers. So you'll see that amongst other things for the opportunity for the trustees to ensure that goals that you all are proposing in the future for the superintendent to adhere to, that those things will also be captured in the board as well. And we'll make sure we line those out for you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Okay, now we'll talk about some future action items. At this time, we'll have a presentation on them. The first one will be the public address system at the Marlin Elementary School.
Yes, ma'am, Madam President. So next I'll call up Adam Lejeune, as he's going to give you all a brief little overview of kind of the state of our PA systems at two of our facilities. Mr. Lejeune?
Thank you, Board President Ms. Terry, members of the board, Superintendent Bates. Our elementary building, and that includes the building at 602 Donahue and 678 Success Drive, are not spring chickens. I believe they were completed around 2001. And since I have been here, there have been multiple patches, rewires, emergency repairs, things like that. And unfortunately, we are at the state now where a patch is no longer really something that we can continue to look forward to. So the decision was made to look for a way to get that fully refurbished before we have a situation where we just don't have a public address system. So as I said, the current system is from the early 2000s era, actually slightly before then, and it has all analog amps and old-timey Bell timer computers. It's a patched-on phone system integration, so we can use our modern phones to call out over the system, but it's a couple pieces long that any one of them fails, and then we won't be able to do that. There are several staticky or low-volume speakers because of that old wiring. And then we have limited integration into district systems, specifically the safety systems that we are implementing this year and moving to more in-depth integrate for next year. I reached out to our proposed vendor for a system, and what we came up with is a hybrid analog digital system. So this is not a fully computerized PA system. It is one that uses analog amps and analog speakers for distributing the sound, but it has a digital backbone that makes it able for us to address over the web using web-based bell timers that any principal or assistant principal can edit with new modern digital amplifiers. Instead of patching together a instead of patching together a piece-by-piece connection to our phone system, the system that we're looking at will have a built-in connection to the phone system. We are also already planning on replacing several speakers that we know are struggling, and we are setting a full integration into our district safety and security systems that are already in process for here at the high school. As I said, we do have a prospective vendor. That vendor is going to be using pre-negotiated contracts. I was unable to pull a quote by the time that we had to post, so that's why we don't see it now. But I will have that for your approval at a future board meeting. We are intending to use general fund, which is the safety and security allotment, and network supplies fund for the computerized pieces. And I said and/or bond funds, but fortunately, the quote that I got back is well within our general fund projections for supplies. So we won't need to be dipping into any additional bond funds for safety and security at the elementary. And as I say, this will be an action at the regular board meeting coming up at the end of March. Are there any questions or discussion? Thank you.
Yes. We're going to discuss the Rural Pathway Excellent Partnership, RPAP. Mr. Bates?
All right, thank you. So next we'll have Ms. Swatek. I'll repeat it because I don't know if your mic was on. The Rural Pathway Excellence Partnership. So I'll turn it over to the Chief Academic Officer, Ms. Swatek.
Good evening, Board President Terry, members of the board, Superintendent Bates. I'm excited to share with you kind of an update on where we are and where we're going with our RPEP program. RPEP was created as a result of House Bill 2209 and signed into law back in 2023. What it does is it supports districts who have less than 1,600 students so that they can ensure that they have access to CTE courses and funding. Marlon joined along with Rosebud Lott in our RPEP group in 2024. So our current RPEP funding includes three different components. One is our allotment. This is where we receive funds from the state. Our RPEP outcomes bonus is where we receive additional funds that are generated when students complete programs. And then because of RPEP, the way it works is we're able to put 80% of our RPEP funds into RPEP-specific courses. So it gives us additional funds to use specifically for those courses. Of course, RPEP is a partnership that when we set it up in 2023, we joined along with Region 12 and Rosebud Lott in an attempt to pool our resources and invest in various pathways. Our current Projects and programs include robotics and automation, marketing and sales, exercise science, and if you guys saw any of the big blurbs last month, we are looking to add cybersecurity this coming fall, so we're super excited about that. What we'll be coming back to you with at the regular board meeting in March will be a request that you sign our mutual use agreement that we are required to do through TEA Code Chapter 29. It authorizes us to continue partnering with Region 12 and Rosebud Lots. So that, of course, is our action that will be required at the future meeting. And if you have any questions or discussions, I'll be glad to entertain those. All right. Thank you.
Okay, next next we'll have the LIFT grant purchase of materials and selection for approved provider.
All right, so once again, still standing at the podium is the great Kim Swatek. Ms. Swatek.
Yes. So again, thank you guys very much, Board President Terry, members of the board, and Superintendent Bates. As we all know, one of the things that we are super passionate about here in Marlin is the growth and the success of both our students and our teachers. And we're excited to announce some information on an opportunity to help fund those goals. So this past fall, our district leadership applied for the Leadership and Instructional Foundations of Texas grant. We learned in February that we are one of 400-plus school systems that were awarded this 3-year program. And with that program, we will receive a $533,000 grant for the first year. It is like I said, it is a 3-year grant, and then years 2 and 3 are continuation funding based on meeting of goals and requirements by TEA. The program is designed to support Texas school systems in building both their instructional and their district-level capacity to ensure that we can deliver high-quality learning experiences for all students. LIFT has 2 primary components, the implementation of Bluebonnet Learning, which we look to begin implementing the reading language arts next year for K-5. We do currently already use Bluebonnet for math K-5 as well as secondary, so we'll continue that. In addition to implementing Bluebonnet, the second part of the grant provides coaching support to teachers as well as campus and district leaders so that we can ensure that as we're doing, implementing those materials and those research-based instructional strategies, we're doing it with fidelity in the way that can best support our students. So the way that the grant is designed, of that $533,000, there's 2 basic divisions. We are required to spend 70% of that on activities with an approved provider. We have another 30% that we can use on additional needs to implement Bluebonnet effectively. So as you can see up here, our approved provider will have a vital role in helping us implement high-quality instructional materials, including conducting a needs assessment for what we need specifically to support students and staff here in Marlin. Also working with myself to create an action plan and design professional development plans to ensure that we have strong coaching to grow our instructional leaders. The remaining 30%, like we said, is able to be used on additional support. So this can be everything from tech services. You'll notice that you see iReady on there, you see iExcel. Those are both 2 things that we currently already use. We can also use it to help fund salaries, ability for us to hire subs so that we can do effective planning days and provide teachers time to really effectively implement and internalize their lessons. So those are kind of where our spending pieces will come from. So our big piece going forward is that in the next couple of weeks, we will be interviewing various approved providers to determine which one is the best fit for Marlin ISD. And then from there, we will ensure that we come back to you at our March board meeting with 3 things we need to accomplish. We will complete our annual certification of instructional materials. This kind of tells the state, hey, this is what we're using, we're implementing Bluebonnet, so on and so forth. We will also look to provide a general idea of what it's gonna cost us to purchase those new Bluebonnet resources. We won't have that finalized, but we'll be able to give you some background information. And then we will come back with a request for our approved provider that we've selected that we think will have the best fit for Marlin ISD. So just a reminder, we will look to do that action at our future meeting in March. And if you have any questions or discussions, I'll be glad to take care of that for you.
Thank you, Ms. Whitehead.
Yes, ma'am.
Did our district receive a Perkins grant this year?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
if we did, how much was it, and was it?
Yes, ma'am. So our Perkins grant works with our CTE money. We did receive Perkins money. We receive it's less than 15,000. So one of the things that happens is, as a result of that, we enter into a shared service agreement. And that agreement has us partner with Region 12 to make sure that we are spending our money in a way that is mutually beneficial. So that Perkins money goes to cover some of the fees that we have with Region 12 to bring in support, such as Mr. Arndt, as you guys have, most of you have met previously. It also goes to help us pay for resources for our classes. So things, if we need to provide drills or grinders or things of that nature for our ag classes, it allows us to do that. So yes, we do, and it is typically less than 15,000. That's why we entered that RPEP that we discussed earlier. That's where we're able to recoup and give better services.
Ms. Swatek,
Yes, ma'am.
this LIFT grant, let me get my understanding correct. So that money is for us to use to purchase things for Bluebonnet, correct?
So it's 2 parts.
Okay.
Portion of it is for us to hire what is called an approved provider. So basically, it is an outside consultant that will be able to come in, and they will help us design coaching plans for both district staff as well as teachers. It also allows us the opportunity to buy supplemental supports of our Bluebonnet materials. One of the requirements for the grant was you have to, and when we applied for it, we signed up that we were implementing those programs because we'd already started. So we are effectively implementing it, and we will continue that with the reading next year.
The one thing I do want to add, just to make sure it's very clear, is the things that you heard Ms. Swatek talk about, y'all, is 100% related to instruction and supporting instruction. So there are times where you'll see the caveat where 70% of it can be spent on instruction and 30% is somewhere else. 100% of this will be spent in the area of instruction and supporting instruction.
Okay, board, any comments, anything? If not, the time is 6:56 and the meeting's adjourned.